What a throw by Patrick Mahomes.
Tyrone Matthew with the big hit. Mostert out of nowhere.
A perfect pass from Jimmy Garoppolo. The Chiefs, the 49ers, are big game bound.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to sunny and beautiful Miami, Florida. This is our second day on Radio Row for Big Game Bound. I'm Jack Doles, and my co-host here, you know, you've heard the old saying, sun's out, guns out. Well, when your co-host looks like this, you wear a jacket. So I'm not going to show my guns.
Well, listen, day
two. You wear a jacket.
Day two, I decided I'm in Miami. I got to go short sleeves, but maybe tomorrow I'll wear a jacket.
All right, I'm sitting between NFL royalty right now. Here's Jarrett, Payton, and right next to me, Barry Sanders, Hall of Famer from the Detroit Lions. Barry, thanks so much for joining us.
Was I supposed to wear a jacket?
No, you're good.
I'm good, okay. All right.
You don't have to worry about your guns. You're still in shape. I'm not. Super Bowl. Is that the one thing that might be missing from that resume that you wish you had right now?
I would say yes. Yeah, I mean, I can't complain the way my career ended up.
No.
But I assumed as a young player that, yeah, I'd play in some Super Bowls. It can't be that hard to get there.
Right.
And after my third season, going to Washington and playing the Redskins in the NFC Championship game, they had a great team and a great coach, and they won, I think, 2 during my era. And so, yes, I mean, if you're talking about the ultimate achievement of what you want to do in your career, yes. But you know, I did everything I could. Some great, fantastic, really franchises won during my tenure during the 90s. When you think about the Cowboys, like I mentioned the Redskins, you think about the Packers, and I leave the Cowboys, Packers, Redskins, and who am I leaving out? Niners. Yeah, the Niners. Yeah, those are the teams that won Super Bowls.
Yep.
In my tenure. So you know, it would have been great to win one. I'll say that, but. You know, it didn't happen, and you have to earn it. You know, your team has to earn it to get there, and so many things really have to line up for you to get there. And so many great players play this game and never come close to playing in the Super Bowl. And you know, so that's you know, that's kind of how the ball bounces sometimes.
One thing you did earn was. You were one of the top 100 players. Here we are celebrating the 100-year anniversary, and the NFL put you on the list as one of the running backs, along with Walter Payton. How big of an honor was that, and especially to share it with Jim Brown, Walter Payton? I mean, these are the greatest names in the history of the game, and you're among them.
Oh, for me, it's just tremendous, honestly. It's like going into the Hall of Fame again because, you know, just growing up, such an avid, passionate fan of football and of running backs, and never thinking that I would end up where I did in the NFL, and just always loving to just, you know, watch running backs and see what they do on the things they do on the field. And so to be with that group of men is truly, truly special. I mean, I hadn't really done the math when I retired. Like, you know, I knew I'd have a chance to go into the Hall of Fame, but I never thought about NFL 100 and things like that. And it was just such a great honor, and something that, you know, it doesn't replace not playing in the Super Bowl, but it just adds so much more to my career and to my legacy.
Well, I'm not part of that running back fraternity, so I'm going to sit
back.
Let me tell
and let me tell you something, Jack. No, I got to tell you a story, because you talk about you're sitting in the middle of royalty, but let me tell you, I had the opportunity in Minnesota to sit down with Barry, with Marcus Allen, with Jim Brown, and Earl Campbell. For a kid growing up watching football, to be in the presence of those men and what they did on the football field, I was taken back a little bit. And to know that my dad's spirit was there while I was sitting down and talking with these guys was truly amazing. So, Barry, I have to ask you this question. When you look at this day and age NFL and your game, what do your numbers look like if you're playing in this modern-day NFL right now?
Well, if I'm playing for the Niners, I think they look pretty good. But if I'm playing for, I don't know, some other team, maybe they don't look so good. I mean, I like a lot of the run packages that I see, with the double tights, and sort of the Wildcats and pistol formations and things like that they did not exist in the 90s. So I think there's certainly some advantages. There's certainly some disadvantages, because it's certainly a much more pass-oriented game. But hey, look, there's still some teams that have figured out how to run the ball. And so if you're in that situation, I think I'd be okay.
We want to quick throw it to JB Biunno. He's got a couple things we want to get you engaged with.
Yeah, we are following all the action on Twitter, everybody. Again, just geeking out, you guys, that Barry Sanders is here on Big Game Bound. We are talking the featured topic of today, Barry. We've been talking about this over the course of the day. Which non-quarterback is going to be the biggest X factor in the Super Bowl? We had 4 options in our Twitter poll: Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Raheem Mostert, and Nick Bosa. And let's go here to the results on our screen. It's kind of hard to see here, but Travis Kelce for the Kansas City Chiefs and Nick Bosa for the San Francisco 49ers are our top 2 choices. Also down here, Niners 2000 on Twitter saying, why am I not surprised? Where's George Kittle and Emmanuel Mosley not on this list? So we couldn't get, of course, all of them on there, but I'm going to throw it back to you guys. The biggest playmakers in Super Bowl 54. I'd be very curious, Barry, to hear your thoughts on who's going to really take over on Sunday.
Well, hey, look, I love just the matchup in general, with such a high-powered offense, against one of the league's best defenses. And so, it's setting up perfect, I think, for fans. Personally, I think I lean toward, and this is only Tuesday, right? So
Yes.
I'm leaning, since it's early in the week, I'm leaning toward the defensive-minded Niners.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm just leaning toward in that direction.
I think you have to in some ways when you think about it, and I've been saying this, that it's the 49ers are been the most complete team, I think, offensively and defensively. And when you get to this point of the year, you got to play good defense. You got to be able to run the football if you want to be able to win a championship. And I think that's what the 49ers give you. But when you look at the offensive firepower that is on that Kansas City squad, I'm kind of with those guys, JB, in the poll when it comes to Travis Kelce. He takes up the middle of the field, or he can be a wide receiver out there. He's a matchup nightmare for defenses.
And I want to mention this: no love for Raheem Mostert in the poll. He just scored 4 touchdowns in the NFC Championship.
If you're looking at a team that is maybe could have some trouble, I said this before yesterday. The 49ers, they can run that wide zone. And not only with him, he has the ability to not be like Derrick Henry, but to be able to get back and find those holes. Yes, this Kansas City defense has gotten better in the postseason, but I still think, do they have one more game in them? That's the question we're going to have to kind of figure out.
How fun is it for you to watch a guy like Patrick Mahomes play? Oh,
it's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing to see a guy just I don't want to say he came out of nowhere, but you never know how a guy is going to play on this level, right? If it'll transfer and translate to this level. And so for me, I'm just like any other fan. It's exciting to see a guy come in and just light the league up, just light it up the way he has. He has a great personality. The cameras love him. He's doing all these marketing deals, and he shows up on Sunday, and he's a phenom. And so for me, it's exciting. And a treat the way it is for anyone else. So that's how I see it.
Yeah, you got to love how, especially when you look at this matchup, Barry, with both teams and both coaches. I mean, Shanahan and Andy Reid. And I think Andy Reid, as a head coach, everybody really wants to see him get a ring and also get a Lombardi trophy. Your takeaway on Andy Reid as a head coach?
Well, I mean, you talk about a guy, I don't want to say he deserves one, right? But just look at his track record with the Eagles. I don't know what was it, 4 straight NFC Championship games, something like that. Obviously a Super Bowl loss to the Patriots. Just such a solid track record, and you always know when you're playing a Andy Reid team, you got a battle on your hands. because they're going to be well coached, well disciplined. So now to see him come to the Chiefs over the last couple of years and see him put his stamp on that franchise and really put the pieces together in place. You were asking me earlier about my situation with the Lions or whatever. I think one thing I've realized just over being away from the game is that you really have to piece by piece put together great teams, and that's what he's done with the Chiefs. You know, and we all know the story about how he traded up to get Patrick Mahomes and look at them across the board, especially on offense, just how solid and complete they are. You know, that's the work of Andy Reid. I mean, he did that. You know, and so but he's been doing this for how many years has he been in the NFL? You know, 20-something years, and not even counting as an assistant coach. So the guy is just a brilliant coach. Going against a relative newcomer. You know, obviously Kyle Shanahan grew up in the business with his dad, what have you, but as a head coach, relatively new. And so that's another sort of storyline that's just very exciting for me as a fan, as a former player. You know, but Coach Reid, I think we can all just agree that just well respected among everyone in the game. Because of the track record that he has and you know what he's done in the game.
All right, we got a little business to take care of with you, Barry. Rocket Mortgage brought you here. They've got the Super Bowl Squares going on, the first largest official Squares game, $50,000 every time $50,000 every time the score changes, and $500,000 at halftime and at the end of the game. Tell us a little about the contest, Barry.
That's right. I mean, we're just trying to give away some cash to a lot of fans, basically. You know, and so
we like cash.
Absolutely. You know, and I'm sure the fans do too out there. But again, it is the Rocket Mortgage Super Bowl Squares sweepstakes, and it's free to sign up. You just go to rocketmortgagesquares.com. You know, and as you stated, every score change, field goals, extra points, you know, touchdowns, whatever. Every time the score changes, fans are going to win $50,000. And then at halftime and at the end of the game, two fans will win $500,000. And so you don't have to know the game. Obviously, the great thing about Super Bowl is everyone tunes in, right? You know, fans of all levels and layers tune in for the game, and so why not join in? Again, rocketmortgagesquares.com to sign up, and you know, good luck to all the fans out there. Maybe you'll be the lucky one.
Ty Halleck has been, he's former teammate here, our analyst on Big Game Bound all year. And he mentioned there was one time he accidentally grabbed one of your game checks and kind of put it in his locker for a couple of weeks and then gave it to you and apologized. Is that something
Shame on him. Shame on him. How could he? That sounds, Ty, man. What, you know, you know what? They should have sent him packing after that. They should have sent Ty packing, man. I can't believe he lasted, you know, any longer after a stunt like that. But anyways, no. Hey, Ty, how's it going, bud?
I'm just telling you, man. Just by your social media, you look like you were having a good time doing this Rocket Mortgage. The commercials and all that stuff. Did you have a fun time doing it?
No, yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun. It's you know, Rocket Mortgage is a great Detroit company. You know, and we're just proud. I'm proud to be associated with them, and really just to see what they've done throughout Michigan and certainly downtown Detroit. You know, and really have rejuvenated the city. So it's been fun. I'm glad to be a part of it. You know, hopefully, and again, hopefully fans will be able to win a lot of cash here. You know, hopefully it's a high-scoring game. You know, like we said before, every time the score changes, there's $50,000. You know, but to answer your question, no, it's been a blast. I mean, as a former player, you know, it gives me a chance also to be able to talk about the game and be around the game. You know, I wouldn't have Super Bowl tickets if it weren't for Rocket. No, maybe I shouldn't say that. Maybe I shouldn't go that far. Maybe I shouldn't go that far.
You can get tickets anytime you want
maybe
to.
I shouldn't go that far.
He's
but
one of
anyway.
the GOATs, man. Oh, man.
I know our time's running short here, but you mentioned Detroit. And, you know, it wasn't all that long ago. Time Magazine sent reporters to live there because of the situation it was in. The growth of that city and what you've seen, the transformation, how incredible is that for somebody who's been there as long as you have?
Yeah, I mean, that's really the word, the transformation. When I was drafted there in '89, downtown, it was pretty much a ghost town down there. It was nothing of real quality in downtown Detroit. No restaurants, no major hotel chains, thriving businesses. I mean, it was tough down there. And so, Rocket Mortgage and others have really done an amazing job of bringing the city back. And you go to downtown Detroit now, you'll see all kinds of great high-end retail. Of course, one of the first moves was when they approved gambling and gaming in downtown, and casinos came, and then others after that. But so yes, the word transformation is really fitting for what has happened there in the last 10, 20 years, and hopefully it'll just get better from there.
This guy, man. He's one of the best. Yeah. Not just as a football player, but as a person, man. Jack has always looked out for me. Picks up the phone anytime that I call him, and I always am very appreciative of what he's done for me. Since my dad passed, he's always been there for me. So appreciate you, Barry.
Hey, it's my pleasure, man. My pleasure being with you guys. Thanks for having me.
Win or lose, you were must-see TV watching you run. Those cuts.
No, that's a great compliment. That's
ankle
a great
breakers.
Compliment. I appreciate it, man. I tried to be especially hard on the Bears too.
I know you were. I know you were.
Barry, thank you so much for joining us.
It. Yes, sir.
And have fun at the Super Bowl. Enjoy.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Appreciate
All right.
Doesn't get any better than that. I mean, it's tough when you sitting down next to somebody like Barry, and you get a chance to get his knowledge of the game and everything else that comes with it. The person. It's sometimes you don't get to see that. You watch the highlights, but you don't get to hear the person talk, and it's great to be able to have him here.
Yeah, and I will tell you that team that played in the NFC Championship game was very fun to watch. And great leadership in the locker room. And to me, as soon as they lost a couple of those leaders, Jarrett,
it's hard.
They went the other way.
Yeah.
You need those leaders, but you need
must-see TV. If you got must-see TV, you tune in all the time, and that's what you got to have. You got to have a guy like that, and they don't come around that often.
Right. Is he on your Mount Rushmore of running backs?
Yes, he is. He's up there. And you know what? I think you can put if you have whoever your top is, you can kind of move him around in any order, but he's up there in what he was able to do in a short period of time. And just think about what his numbers would have been if he would have stayed in the game a little bit longer. I mean, that's over 20,000 yards probably if he decides he wants to stay. And that's what makes him so great.
Right. All right, we're going to transition now because we got. Wow. I mean, I'm sitting here looking at
I wanted to win one of those just to have my name in the conversation of the Heisman. But man, amazing.
It's one of those. One of the more iconic images that you see out there. That's for sure.
Yeah. This is Dave Hunt from NFL Auctions, and we are going to show you some incredible stuff. And then Jarrett and I are going to play a little guessing game on how much does it cost.
We'll start with this one. Let's start big. Let's go big.
Let's go big.
So this is a 1941 Bruce Smith Heisman Award. It was actually given to him 2 days after Pearl Harbor. And only University of Minnesota guy to ever get it. Only about 2 or 3 years have ever been sold publicly. What do you think?
Well, first I want you to pass that to Jarrett because he should touch that before I do.
Yeah.
It's heavy.
It is heavy.
You got it?
Oh, yeah, I got it. Oh, man.
But it's probably not that heavy when you receive it.
I'm sure it feels very light when you receive it.
Yeah, you got to put it down.
It's on a podium. It's on a podium.
Put it down so you can talk. You have to. I'm going to say, you said only 2 have ever been.
I think 2 or 3
have ever publicly. So this is a hot commodity. I'm going to say a couple grand. So probably like $7-8 grand.
I'm going to say about $125,000.
So we're not doing the high-low today. We're going actual numbers.
And I'm going to hop in here, too, because we want all of our viewers on Facebook Live to guess along here with us. I'll be looking for some of the comments. We'll play the guessing game with some of this memorabilia, you guys. This is great.
Yeah, if you have any Heismans at home, we're happy to talk to you as well. It's not a problem.
Dave, I feel like I'm way off that he just went over
I think
100.
You're way off. The estimate's $250,000 to $500,000. That's the estimate.
That was way off.
Now, by the way, it could bring less or more. So we'll find out in a couple of days.
So $500,000 bucks?
$500,000 to have this.
Can I hold that for 1
Yeah,
second?
you can. Listen.
I just, hey, this.
Jack, go ahead. Just don't drop it.
Oh, I won't.
It's only half a million.
You drop it, you bought a policy here. That's for sure.
And that would mean that you were probably a DB in high school or something like that.
Right.
DBs always want to be wide receivers.
I played golf.
Oh, man. Out of the conversation now.
My son played at Northwestern, so
Yeah,
but he didn't win this.
I'm going to tell you, I mean, when it comes down to it in this award and what this is, it's so iconic. And, Jack, you were talking about it. Just when you say the stiff arm, this is one of the things that you think of first and foremost. And just to have this award, I could see why it would cost so much because I know how hard it was to obtain something like this.
Well, it's really, if you think about all sports, not just football, this is arguably the most visibly recognizable award in sports.
Yeah.
Period. I mean, there's others, obviously, but this is the one that you see it, you know what it is.
So, Dave, I'm curious. Desmond Howard, that famous pose, the year he won the Heisman, would that up the value of his if he ever put it on the market?
I mean, certainly it's nothing. No disrespect to Bruce Smith or any of the recipients of the Heisman Award. That's you don't need any disrespect there, period. But obviously, the more marquee of a player, the more iconic of a player, the more it's going to theoretically bring. Yeah.
I got a question then.
Sure.
Because the reason why I started playing football was not because of my father, Walter Payton. It was because I watched Charles Woodson.
Yeah.
What would, if Charles Woodson ever decided, which I know he would never do, but be it a defensive back to have this award, would that add up the money a little bit more?
Definitely. I mean, again, anytime you have the bigger the name player, the more it's going to be. There's no question. So you could argue, let's just put it in more general terms, of a more marquee player or a more current player even, that people just know the name more, it's probably going to be in excess of $500,000. Wouldn't surprise me at all.
So basically what I'm going to do is just use my big game bound check on this and good.
You're getting paid more than me.
We got to get to the next. We got to get to the next item because we only have 10 more minutes here with Dave. We got some other great stuff here.
All right, so we've got Washington Redskins Super Bowl ring from 1991. So the Hogs era. From an offensive coach. Where do you guys want to start on this one?
Some bling there.
Oh, man. I don't know. I'm having a hard time.
I think you got to up your estimate from the last.
I'm going to say 75 grand.
Okay. What's yours?
That was the number in my head. 75,001. No,
this ain't a game show, Jack. It's not a game show.
Price is Right. Big Game Bound edition.
Trying to one-up me.
Let's go with 45,000.
All right. Well, listen. We're the auctioneer, so I hope you're both right. But the estimate's 15 to 25,000.
Okay.
So, and again, what makes these things interesting in any of these pieces we're talking about in the auction is we don't know what they're going to bring. So obviously, it just depends on the team, the popularity, and everything else.
Nobody in my family has won one of those.
I have one.
How special was it? Did your dad wear it around at events?
He didn't wear it all the time, but the story about my dad's ring is it got lost. My dad was coaching basketball at Hoffman Estates High School in Illinois and decided to take the ring and give it to this kid. And as he gave it to him, he started coaching, forgot about it. The kid put it in his bag, took it home. It ended up in the couch. The couch got sold to a kid that ended up going to a college and was moving the couch. The ring fell out, and that kid brought it back to my mom.
We've had those stories happen. It happens all the time. We've heard it. And we want to guess what your dad's ring would be on air? Not about selling it, but you want to guess what it's worth?
No, I have no clue.
Can I guess?
That's a good answer. Sure.
Super Bowl 20.
I think you would find a Bear fan easily pay $500,000 for that.
I was going to say 250 to 500,000 for sure. No doubt about it.
Your dad was so beloved in Chicago.
Oh, not just Chicago. Frankly, everywhere.
But especially in Chicago.
Don't give me these numbers. Don't give me these numbers. What are you guys doing? You take that back. That is amazing.
Next item.
No way. Don't.
Number 80.
Stop.
Number 80.
Just stop.
You hold it, Jarrett.
Stop.
Jarrett's about to lose it.
Serious?
Number 80.
Jarrett's about to lose it. Popping him up on camera.
Game worn. Jerry Rice. Boy. And the timing was pretty good for this consigner, being that the 49ers got into the Super Bowl. He did not know that when he put it into the auction. So,
again,
are you kidding me? Do you see these? You see the goosebumps on?
That's your guy.
This is amazing, man.
Yeah, you can't let your emotion get in the way of your estimates, though. That's the problem.
Priceless.
I mean, you can if you
priceless.
want.
I'm trying not to tear up. Like, seriously, literally not trying. I got tears in my eyes. This is amazing. You don't get to touch greatness like this all the time.
True.
You watch and you watch the videos. You see these guys with this stuff on, but to be able to touch it in your hands.
Well, a lot of times that's why people collect these things. It takes you back to that moment, right? What you remembered growing up or watching a certain player play, and you remember that helmet or that style jersey or whatever it might be.
It's the GOAT, man. So I'm going to, if that Heisman is worth what it's worth, this has to be more than that.
I think he's going high. He's
I'm going
emotional. He's going emotional.
I'm going higher.
Jack, you're about to run off with it.
No.
He's really fast.
I am
for
fast.
the record. He can make it out of here with that helmet.
I'll tell you what. You bring your dad's ring in, and we'll trade you the helmet. And
Man, my mom would disown me. I'm gonna really. If this is game worn, I'm going higher. I'm going like 600,000.
95,000.
15 to 25,000.
Okay.
I like your guys' estimates. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to make a lot of money this week if you're right on these estimates.
I mean, in that ballpark, I'm not a guy that gambles or spends money, but I would spend money on something like this.
Well, you know what? Again, you are right about one thing. Game used, that's sort of the pinnacle because you couldn't just collect that and get an autograph. You couldn't. You had to have access to it somehow, whether a player donated to a charity auction, whether it was given to an equipment manager as a present. So it's very rare that you get these things that come out, and it probably will do in excess of what we've read.
So I have to get your information because when my dad would go and meet guys, they would trade helmets and trade stuff. So in his office, he had all the helmets from different guys, and I think some of them have numbers in them. I'm not sure whose they actually are, but I think we have a lot of game-worn helmets.
We were happy to do
but not a Jerry Rice?
Not a Jerry Rice, I don't think, no. This is current.
Oh, look at that. Our poll winner.
Tell me the game.
Dirt on it.
Tell me the game.
Year, I don't have the game off the top of my head, but like this year, not the playoffs, or not a significant game, but during the year, you can typical Kelsey jersey. It's pounded with use. And one cool thing about working with the NFL auction program is what our goal in partnering with them 10, 11 years ago was we specialized in the vintage items, the Heismans, the older rings, and they have the best of the things right off the field today. Mm-hmm. And so we said, how can we better this partnership to make more money for NFL charities and bring the best of football items to Super Bowl fans every year? So the NFL auction pieces come right off the field, literally, and whether it's a kickoff ball or a jersey or what have you, and all of those proceeds go to NFL auction charities, all of them. So different salute to service, breast cancer awareness, and then we sort of customize the vintage pieces where a portion of those proceeds still go to NFL auction charity. So it's a great way to get sort of the best items that are out there for football fans and do some good as well. What's your numbers?
Well, if that helmet of the GOAT is 15 to 20, then I'm going to say maybe about – I'm going less. I'm going less, and I'm probably going to be wrong. I'm just going to say 10,000.
I'll say 25.
Okay. 3,000 to 5,000 is the estimate.
Okay.
So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Jared's getting competitive. I see you.
I'm sure there will be a lot of Chiefs fan here looking at that with the emotions of Jarrett.
Yeah.
Well, listen, what's interesting is the auction is held every year Saturday right before the game. So obviously nobody knows who's going to win. There's a lot of speculation. Like, we've had jerseys. We had a Tom Brady jersey one year. It was estimated at 10 to 20,000. We're at 70,000. This is a long time ago before he was at the stature he is now, and now that jersey's worth 150,000. So, but if you bid on that and you lost the next day, might have been worth less. It's a little bit of a gamble, and it's kind of what makes it fun.
So you have one of those guys there going, they're 75.
Legitimate. If you're down here in Miami and you come to the NFL Experience on Saturday, we'll be down there doing it, the whole 9 yards. Not me, but the auctioneer will be.
That's amazing. It's amazing.
Last item.
See a football.
All right. So, again, an NFL auction piece. This is the actual second half kickoff ball from last year's Super Bowl.
Nice.
The actual ball. So, needless to say, if you're a Patriots fan, probably not so much if you're a Rams fan, but if you're a Patriots fan, can't get something better than something right off the field from that game. You might have come to the game or what have you. What do you put this one at?
Go, Jack. You're going first this time.
I'll say 15,000.
15,000.
I'm going to go a little bit less. I'm going to say about 12,000.
You know what? You're not. Neither one of you are wrong in that 5,000 to 10,000 range. So depending on how the bidding goes, it could end up getting there. Absolutely.
So how many times will they change balls in the course of Sunday's game?
It's a good question. It's probably not as I don't know specifically because we're not in charge of the actual collection process, but I would think probably less than you would think.
Mm-hmm.
They do not rotate balls in constantly. You know, they're actually pretty limited, and we'll get a couple each year, but not dozens of footballs. How many they use? Do they give some to the teams? I'm sure the answer to all that is yes. But then, obviously, the opening kickoff or the second half kickoff, one of the more interesting ones we ever had was when the Saints were in the Super Bowl, the onside kick. We actually had the onside kick ball, which was really cool. Because if you think about how rare that is to have an onside kick successfully, which easily changed that whole scope of that game.
Yes.
And ended up bringing $11,000, and which normally would be $1,000 or $2,000, but it was so iconic. And if you're a Saints fan, you got to have that.
Yeah.
Got to have it.
The opportunity to be able to raise money with the guys and the legends that have either helped create this game or are still playing this game.
Yeah.
Very, very smart.
We're very, very honored to do it. Obviously, it's a business as well, but we've been able to customize it to make money that also helps do some good causes and make sure these are fully authenticated pieces too. So if fans are buying these or collectors buying them, they know that they're good and they know that they're real.
Hold on, can we get this one last item in here?
Absolutely.
I see this helmet, and look at that. Look at all the signatures on that.
So this is pretty special. This is from, I can't remember the exact number, but Super Bowl MVPs. These aren't just participants. These are Super Bowl MVPs.
Did we see this last year? Because this looks.
We've had a couple of them over the years. Yeah, they signed I think like 40 of them or something. You've got obviously Brady in the middle there, Peyton Manning, Jerry Rice, Joe Namath, Joe Montana, Aaron Rodgers, Roger Staubach. It just goes on.
Eli on there twice?
It's a good question. That's a good
question, Jarrett.
That's a good question.
I'm just thinking, but
Franco Harris,
that
Len Dawson, all of them.
Are we
Phil
guessing?
Simms. Go ahead.
You'll never stop.
Yeah, I mean,
stop giving me chills all day today.
50,000.
It's got to be. I'm going to say 70,000.
Well, because it's an NFL auction piece, all the proceeds go to charity. We hope you're both right. Should be about 10 to 20,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
But really, really a cool piece.
You can't get those names. Like just the fact that you have Brady. He's actually on the. Is that a logo?
Yeah. Yep.
What would
just
Brady alone goes for what on a helmet? Because that's Brady. If you're a big New England Patriots fan, I am not. I'm not a huge Patriots fan. But if you are, that's Tom Brady plus every other Super Bowl MVP. So what does a Tom Brady helmet go for?
In the 1,000 to 3,000 range.
Okay.
But you're right. I mean, if you think about all the different guys you're getting on here and just the process of getting these signatures.
Yes.
Even if you wanted to do it, it would take you probably years to do it. And you just again having the authenticity piece coming right from the NFL and NFL auction program, it really adds a lot of value on it.
I'm just looking at this right now. The ones that I can read, you've got Franco Harris, Len Dawson,
Mark Rippon. You got, everybody. Drew Brees. Troy Aikman. On and on.
It's amazing.
I bet you're wishing I was a billionaire right now.
Well, let's figure out how we can maybe work a little bit more, and we could.
There's Joe Namath. Yeah. Who was the Bears MVP when they won that Super Bowl?
Richard Dent.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is
He's on there somewhere.
Cool.
Thank you so much.
Not at all.
All right, Dave Hunt has been our guest,
Dave.
and I know we got to wrap up because I'm sure you've got somebody else you've got to see from
man.
NFL auctions.
That is amazing.
If you're interested in this stuff, can they do this online as well?
Yeah, you can go to NFLauctions.com or HuntAuctions.com. Both of us will have it up there. The online bidding goes all week, and then the live auction's on Saturday. But you don't have to be here to bid live. You can do it online.
Wait, Dave, who won? But who had the better guesses? I got to know between these two guys because I'm a competitive guy, and I want to know who got it. Who got it?
Let's see.
Jack,
I should have been keeping score.
Listen,
I think
Jack was a lot closer than I was.
I think he just hopes that everybody thinks the numbers we were thinking.
Yeah, both these guys are aggressive. I like it. I am all about that. The higher, the better.
And the higher, the better. That's what he's hoping for. And I get that. You saw his eyes when you said 70,000. He was like, nah, 15, but I'm hoping it goes that
75
direction.
works for me. I'm not going to argue.
We'll have to make it a big game bound tradition to have Dave Hunt here join us on the show.
Please.
It's been a pleasure.
Thanks, guys.
sir.
Appreciate
Thanks.
it. Yep.
Thank you very much.
Good luck. Hopefully you
care.
guys make a lot for charity.
Alrighty.
Man, Jack.
Yeah, that would look good on my
What are we gonna
shelf.
do, man? This makes me want to not sleep tonight and keep working.
We need tissues. We need a box of tissues.
JB.
Where's Rick?
JB, I'm not joking with you, man. When I held that Jerry Rice helmet, literally had tears in my eyes.
I could see it, man.
Tears in my eyes.
I could see it. Emotions running high today, Tuesday on Big Game Bound, you guys. For everyone joining us, I know Jarrett's going to need a deep breath to recollect himself after holding that Jerry Rice helmet. I mean, that was incredible. We're talking, just don't go anywhere. We have a great second half of the show, including the Browns. We're talking Browns in 10 minutes for those Cleveland Browns fans out there. It's going to be a long offseason for them. But we also have, I believe, Randy Grimes. He's down this way. He's going to be joining us here momentarily, you guys. So, JP, you okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
But it's not every day that you get the opportunity to hold memorabilia like that. I mean, that's pretty special. And regardless of us actually bidding on it or not, the fact that we had the chance to even touch it and hold it, awesome.
I'm going to guess by your reaction, Jarrett, that Jerry Rice would be on your Mount Rushmore of NFL greats.
Yes, he is.
So give me your 4.
My 4. Man, that's the hard part. My dad's on there. Jerry Rice is on there. Lawrence Taylor's on there, and the last one, I mean, I don't know. I think Jim Brown's got to be on there. Yeah. That would be my 4, and I think you could also throw in there as well. Joe Montana would be in there. Brady probably it could be in that top 5, but it's hard. Brady's still going now. I'm not putting him in top 5 until when he commits and says I'm all done. Okay, I know he has more championships than anybody, but it's amazing to see what he's done in his career as well.
All right, you can see where you've got Randy Grimes miking up right now.
Uh-oh.
That's right here I am.
Randy, how many of these interviews
guys?
do you think you'll be doing today?
Oh, my gosh, I don't know. This is my 11th consecutive Super Bowl to be at, talking about what I'm talking about. So I've told the story once or twice.
Well, let's tell it.
Oh, we're going to start off like that, huh?
No. Let's talk football first.
Stuff,
Football and then we'll get there. This matchup, who do you like? Who's your pick?
You know what? I'm going with KC. Mahomes is my homie. I'm from Tyler, Texas, so White House is right outside of Tyler. So, and I look at that kid. He's a lot like Steve Young was when I blocked for him in his brief career as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. You never know where he's going to be, and he's always trying to make magic happen back there in the pocket, and you pretty much can count on him having a big play every now and then.
Hey, did that worry you when guys do?
Oh my God, it was miserable.
Yeah, because you don't know where to block.
Yeah,
and
they're not where they're supposed to be. That's right. All these sacks that we were giving up, it wasn't our fault. We had a pocket there. We used to tape an eye on the back of our helmet because we never knew where Steve Young was going to be, and he was never where he was supposed to be. He was always roaming around trying to make something happen.
And you like when it happens.
And you do, yeah.
So
but when it doesn't, it's ugly,
So when you're sitting there in the film room and you're getting ready for a player like that, you're on the offensive side of the ball.
Right.
But if you had a defensive player like, say, a Lawrence Taylor who could just wreck you.
Right. Or a Reggie White.
Yeah, Reggie White.
Thanks for bringing up those traumas.
I'm sorry about that. What is that like, that week of preparation? Are you sleeping at all? Are you excited about that?
Yeah, you're excited. You're worried. I can remember being in third and long situations where I had to shotgun the snap at center and having Reggie White right over me on an island, and that's the shortest distance between me and the quarterback was a straight line, and that was right through me. And, there was a lot of those situations. My first start ever was against Randy White in Texas Stadium, at left guard, and I'd never played guard before in my life. So I grew up a lot that day. I grew up a lot of those, practicing against Leroy Selman every day in practice, practicing against Mike Singletary every day in practice at Baylor. It made me a better player. And you never really can prepare for something to happen until it actually happens.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. And this matchup, when you look at Mahomes and what he's able to do, Nick Bosa is one of those guys that is going to be able – 49ers, they're going to have to rush 4 to try to get to him as an offensive line, which they have an opportunity to kind of get better. How do you kind of manage to get to Mahomes but also not give him lanes to be able to run as well?
Well, and I think that's what's going to determine the games, whether or not KC's offensive line can keep those guys under control. Are they going to give Mahomes time to make that magic happen that we talked about? Because that's what he does best, is gets back there and he creates great opportunities and scoring opportunities and first downs. So, it's going to be on KC's offensive line.
Did you You said you watched him grow up. You watched him play at Texas Tech. Did you know he was going to be this special off the bat, or did you think it was going to take him some time to be able to?
I thought it would take him some time.
Okay.
You know, I never give anybody the benefit of the doubt that they could step right in and make a difference like he has. But he has, man. He's lived up to the hype, and he's been everything and more of what we thought he might be.
So as an offensive lineman, when you see what San Francisco did in the NFC Championship game where they threw 8 passes, I'm guessing you're watching that game and you're a little happier than the pass-happy fan.
Yeah, not necessarily, because I love the pass block. Run blocking was always tough for me.
What?
Yeah, I'm a pass blocking guy.
Randy, what are you? I've never heard an offensive lineman say that he likes the pass block.
I was always a pass blocking guy. You know, it was easier for me than run blocking. You know, it seems like I don't know. I enjoyed it more. But you know, that's a great statement, because that's exactly what happened. And KC better be ready for that. Here's a guy that he threw 8 passes.
8 passes.
8 passes.
The whole game.
Yeah. But look at that running back. And how great do you have to be as an offensive line to create a seam for a running back like that? All they need is a glimpse of daylight, you know?
I've been saying that being a running back, I've said that my whole entire life, and especially when you're moving and you have movement and you got guys pulling. To me, it gives an opportunity for those cutback lanes.
And if you're getting the ball deep enough, there's a lot of daylight
so
there.
much, and you got good vision, good feet. You can get back to those holes. That's why I love outside zone. It's the greatest play. Everybody likes to run downhill. I like stretching guys out a little bit.
Zone blocking's great, too.
Next year, get back up there and find your hole.
Anything better than pancaking a guy?
Oh. Nothing. No, nothing. Helping him up, maybe.
Put a little syrup on him.
Yeah, and not getting pancaked. That's the whole idea.
I want to know. You got to tell me. Was it hard? Was it the movement, being inside to run block, or what was it? Because the guard and center, that relationship is always a good thing, and with that tackle, be able to move a little bit. Most guys don't like having to kind of, be arm tackled and also just engage all the time.
Well, and you know all about zone blocking, and it was always about getting up to the next level. And, a good defensive lineman's not going to let you get up to the next level. They're going to keep you off the linebackers. And so usually they wind up tying up 2 people because they're holding me because I'm trying to get past them up to the linebacker, and then the guard's already engaged or the tackle, whatever the zone is. So, but I'm with you. If I was ever going to run block, if I was ever going to coach a team in running game, we would be zone blocking all over the place, and we'd be stretching out plays as far as we could, sideline to sideline, and let the running back be the athlete that he is and let him pick his lane and find his own daylight.
We had Barry Sanders here a short time ago. And it was pretty
Talk
bad.
about the king of finding daylight.
You only needed a little bit.
Oh, my gosh.
Well, you talked a lot about Andy Reid. I want to ask you about Kyle Shanahan. So young. How impressed are you with what he's been able to do and the way they've turned that around in San Francisco?
And not just him, but how about Lynch? The work that they've done together. I'm so impressed with these guys are so innovative and creative, and they're not scared to try things, and it's not that same old grind and grunt that's been going on year after year from some of these older coaches that are just being recycled around the league. There's some real creativity going on out on the field, and the relationship that they have with the players. That's the most impressive thing. It's real respect, and it's a real what we used to call a player's coach. It's that kind of relationship that you want to go out there and you want to battle, you want to win, and you want to do well for your team. And so I give him credit. I give him credit for the attitude and the atmosphere around there.
We saw guys. If they shook hands with Sean McVay, they were getting jobs. Do you see a coaching tree developing pretty quickly with Shanahan?
Yeah. I see Shanahan wanting to leave his legacy all over the league. I mean, he's that kind of coach. It comes from that kind of bloodline. So, I do. I see that.
All right, real quick, we want to bring JB back.
Yeah, Randy, we're going to be talking Cleveland Browns here at 145 for our Cleveland Browns markets. Would you like to stick around, or do you have other places to go? Because we can, if you'd like. We want to do it.
JB, we'll get to that in a minute.
Okay,
First,
sure.
Just real quick, Randy, I know you've been through a lot, and part of the reason you're here is to talk about some of your journey and what you're doing.
Yeah, and I'm here like I said, my 11th consecutive year here talking about the work that I do with the Player Care Foundation and the NFL, helping guys, former players, get through their addictions and mental health issues. And, you know, a lot of guys are out there sick and suffering and not raising their hand and asking for help because they don't know there's resources available through the Player Care, through the NFL. So I work at JourneyPure.com. That's where the program is that the NFL uses. And I just want people to know, I want guys that are listening to know that there's resources, that they don't have to suffer in silence, that there's hope and that there's help out there. And that's why we're here.
We had Eric Hipple on yesterday.
Hipple,
and,
yeah.
Have you worked with him a little bit?
Hipple's been great to work with, and he's so tuned in to the mental health side, you know, and obviously he's got his own stories, and he doesn't mind sharing, and that's the kind of stuff that tears down the stigma of having mental health or having an addiction problem and keeps people from raising their hand. The more people we have like Hipple out there, you know, sharing their stories and their journeys and what they've been through, the more people we have that say, hey, I need help too.
All right, let's.
Yeah, no, just really, Randy, it's crazy to think about where, you know, we talked about it yesterday, big, strong football players. I got this. I can handle this all on my own. And the fact that you're shedding light that there are resources, a lot of guys don't know all the different things that the NFL actually has or other people have for them. That's and right. Resources. So to be able to shed light on that is definitely helping out a lot of these guys that are currently playing and that are post retirement as well.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. And, you know, I'm here talking about the work I do with former players through the NFL, but, you know, I want everybody to know, an addiction happens to everybody. It happens to good people. You know, it happens to your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your neighbor. I want people to know that there's hope and help, but you got to put your hand up and ask for help.
All right, we got to wrap with you real quick, but just Cleveland Browns, what happened last year in your eye?
I don't know. I think they have some great coaching. They got some great players. It's kind of like with the Buccaneers. You always think that you're one play away from something great happening, or you're one player away from something great happening, and it never does. But you know, I think they're going to come around. I'm sticking with them. I like them.
Randy, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And thanks for
you
sharing your message.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm going to tell you, it's tough for all of the hoopla that was coming into the season about the Browns and Odell Beckham and Jarvis Landry and all this other stuff, Baker Mayfield. It just did not pan out.
Let's do it, you guys. Here we go. Today's team focus. We are talking, everybody, the Cleveland Browns. I think that there was some hype, a little bit of hype before last season, just a little bit, with getting Odell Beckham Jr., reuniting him with Jarvis Landry, Baker Mayfield entering his sophomore season. What a disaster. Is that a fair word? Would you describe, disaster when it came to the Cleveland Browns season? I mentioned it in my note to the company. I said, how do you turn a frown upside down if you're a Cleveland Browns fan? So we're talking their off season. We're talking about priorities. We're talking about changing the culture of that organization. Jarrett, Payton, Jack Doles. I'm JB Biunno. Let's discuss it. Let's break it down. Reinvigorating the Cleveland Browns with new life and getting Baker Mayfield back on track. What say you?
Yeah, Jarrett, I know last year the Browns won the offseason.
Yes, they did.
Why didn't they win the regular season?
Because Freddie Kitchens just probably wasn't the best thing for that team. And you had to say bye-bye and start new and start fresh. I think offensively, you have all these different names, but the one thing that you have to get better at, and I think the Browns have to figure out, is get better on the offensive line. They have to get better in the trenches. If they don't, there was at times where Baker Mayfield felt like he was uncomfortable back in that pocket. When you have a guy that can throw, especially in one-on-one coverage like that with him, when you have these guys on the outside, take advantage of it. If he can't see those guys to take advantage of it, Jack, he's on his back. And so you can't have your quarterback, your franchise quarterback, feeling frustrated in the pocket. They got to get better up front.
How does it play in a locker room when a guy we saw Baker Mayfield every time you turned on your TV, he's on a commercial. When he's doing all that, everybody wants to be able to make as much as they can while they can. But does that do things in a locker room?
A little bit.
When a guy's not producing?
Yeah, when you're not producing and you're not winning. And I think that's the issue. When you're not winning, it becomes – You know, we were seeing him all season long. He was on a lot of commercials. Every time you turn on Sunday, you saw him. And I think they have to be able to fix that. Also, yes, we did talk about Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham Jr., 2 unbelievable receivers, 2 unbelievable talents. They have to find a way to get another receiver. They need a third wide receiver. And I don't know whether it's, to me, it's going out and find one in the draft to be able to kind of complement those guys and also be kind of an eye that other defenses have to figure out how to stop those two, where then that third receiver can be the guy that's getting off, making some plays.
And I want to bring this up because we see him on our screen. Myles Garrett, obviously such a dynamic playmaker for them on defense. How big of the carryover is it into next season when they're trying to establish an identity in that locker room, but that's going to loom over into next season with what happened with the Pittsburgh Steelers?
I believe in this league, we've seen it before, and we've seen it often where things happen, and it's terrible, Jack. You know, where you see an incident happen like we saw against the Steelers. Mm-hmm. Guys get second chances. It's what do you do with that second chance or that second opportunity? Can you turn it around and turn that into something positive and maybe learn from those mistakes? And we've seen guys that get opportunities. If you're trying to change a culture, that's probably going to be one of the focal points of, you know, new coaching coming in and trying to change a culture. If he's an unbelievable talent, one of those generational talents, sometimes that stuff gets looked over. I don't know if it should be. I'm just telling you from what I've seen in previous situations.
This may be an obvious question, but this kind of seems like this is more of a locker room issue than an on-the-field issue for this team.
Yeah, I mean, it could be, but it's also about culture, and you're trying to create a culture inside of a locker room. And what culture and what precedent? What precedent are you trying to set here? And I look at it going, you have a guy that's really good at football. He made a mistake, a bad mistake, something that you don't want to see, and it shouldn't be seen on TV. But then I also see the flip side as well, is that this game that they play and the game that I played, when you walk in between those lines, it's hard to switch that switch on and off. Some guys just don't know how to do it, and that's one of my biggest issues of seeing this game. It's a violent sport that we play.
All right, you just got hired as the head coach of the Browns. How do you change the culture? What's the first thing you do? Are you sitting down one-on-one with these guys, delivering a message? Are you gathering them as a team? How is it that you get that message across that this has got to change, and then this change will make us better?
Well, it starts from the top down. I think even with the well-known name guys, a guy like Odell Beckham, it seems like he tapered off a little bit, not having the season we probably expected it to have in his first year in Cleveland, but making sure that he's setting the tempo. The well-named guys have to set the tempo by the way that they work. And if they can do that, it changes everything. In Chicago, we saw it when Khalil Mack put on a Bears jersey. He's one of the highest paid guys in the NFL, and he was out there working that way, and everybody fell in line. If you're a well-named guy, you're a star, if you show that you're working, everybody else will follow suit. And if they're not, they're going to be out of town.
When the draft comes around, are you taking that receiver in the first round, or are you going after some O-line help?
I think you can go O-line help, but David Njoku as well. Injuries last season, they got to figure out a way. A tight end is so big for this offense. I know it's in every offense, JB, but in this offense, it's huge because that takes away. If that guy can be that tight end can do his thing, and you know how versatile these guys are now. Now the matchup problem is we got to worry about this tight end. Oh, we got to worry about Jarvis Landry. Oh, we got to worry about Odell Beckham. That's the problem that offenses are trying to create. That's what the Browns are trying to create.
I'm gonna propose a crazy idea.
What up?
What can you package Odell and get that tight end and get a little bit of help in some other key areas? Because really, I mean, is the Odell plus Baker dynamic really gonna flourish? Is that something that's going to happen in Cleveland? Is that dynamic ever gonna work?
I'm gonna give it time.
Okay.
I gotta give it time.
Okay.
JB,
yeah,
Jack, we've never seen this. That guy is so special. He's still special. But
talking about Baker or Odell?
Odell.
Okay.
Odell is that special that he is a guy, and at that position, you're not going to win Super Bowls with just a receiver, but He's that piece that you still have to keep now because he's still a big-time talent.
Because the LSU thing was revealed what he did in the locker room. Maybe you need to get some characters out of the locker room.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I
forgot about that, JB. That's
just gonna,
we're talking about culture change.
Culture change, right?
Hasn't started yet.
Myles Garrett, Odell Beckham. Baker, grabbing his, I want
to know what Browns fans think. Because this is on them. Because we're talking about getting rid of household name guys.
Browns fans, tweet at us. If you're joining us from one of the Ohio markets, Browns markets out there, tweet at Jarrett, Payton, myself, Jack Doles, and Big Game Bound, the Big Game Bound page on Twitter. We will give you a shout out on the show because the Browns are such a fascination to me with how it was supposed to go right, but then of course. In Cleveland Brown fashion. I am so sorry to all the diehards out there, the Browns diehards out there, but it was just such a letdown last season. I think that they had some big nationally televised games. ESPN and others were kind of building them up, and then they were irrelevant by the second half of the season.
Now, Jarrett, you just talked about patience, but the Browns have been known to make changes pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the fan base was screaming for Freddie Kitchens' head halfway through the season or, week 4. How patient can you be if you're in their situation?
I mean, right now, I feel like you have to. You put this team together for a reason. It didn't work out the way that it was supposed to in year 1 with all these guys, and I still think they got to figure it out. They got a new head coach already, if I'm not mistaken. So now you got to figure out how to be able to take the pieces that you have. Kevin Stefanski.
Yep.
And maybe a younger coach that comes in with a different swag and also a different vision. Maybe that's what everybody else is doing that in the league.
I know, but just because one team is successful with that young gun doesn't mean that every team is going to be successful with that model. Don't you need don't you need someone who's going to go in there and command respect?
JB, that doesn't always work either, man.
It doesn't work always. Yeah, it doesn't.
Because the Bears did that with John Fox, thinking that was going to be the guy that has all the experience. It didn't work out. It's a coin flip with these coaches.
Yeah.
You got to have the right. You have to have the right base of guys and the talent to be able to see if it can flourish. And so you just never know.
Hey, listen, the young gun head coach will earn respect if you get off to the right start next year for the Cleveland Browns, right? Kevin Stefanski will immediately earn locker room respect if they get off to a banging start in next year.
It's never year 1 with these younger coaches.
Right.
It's year 2. What can you do in year 2? And do you make it past year 1? That's another thing that you have to worry about.
Because Nagy could have run for mayor after year 1.
I mean, coach of the year. And then next thing you know, your offense is nowhere to be found. And then that was an issue. And so now people are questioning him already in year 2. We're about to head into year 3. So it's difficult now. You have to have patience. These organizations, these fan bases don't have patience. They want to win now, especially in big-time markets.
All right, well, we're going to have more team-focused segments this week. I'm so excited. We're going to be talking Buffalo Bills. We're going to be talking, Dallas Cowboys. We're going to be talking some interesting teams and their off-season priorities here on Big Game Bound. Some great shows coming your way this week, right, Jack? I mean, we got a lot more coming. We're not even through the halfway point of Big Game Bound.
I'm excited. having Barry today, and then we're going to have Lee Steinberg, the super agent.
Oh, yeah.
Patrick Mahomes' agent.
I know.
That was a good hookup.
And also Tua Tagovailoa's agent as well. We got to talk that and see.
I thought you said we were going to have Tua for a second, and I'm like,
hold up. Maybe Tua might be with him. We never know. Right?
Showing off that knee, saying, hey, I'm healthy.
Why not?
Pick me.
Why not?
Hey, real quick, for my I'm at WFLA in Tampa. I want Tua in a Buccaneer uniform.
Just stop.
Come on. I have Alabama roots, so
Mike Evans and Tua.
That would be. Come on, now trade up.
At least it wouldn't be an interception like every 3 or 4 passes.
Right.
Jameis.
Get the ball to your playmakers. Let Tua in Tampa. Can we start a hashtag? Man, I'm all about it. Let's go. I'm starting the campaign right now on Big Game Bound. Tua in Tampa.
What's going to happen with Jameis?
I don't know. Somebody out there is going to –
maybe we have to do a Buccaneers segment too, man. We might have to really –
we might have to do –
can
we fit 2?
Start doing 2 teams a day.
Can we get 2 teams a day at one point? Why not?
We could do that.
Because Jameis is interesting as well.
I mean, he does some things that just blow your mind.
Throws
and the next
for some
minute,
yards.
He blows your mind.
No, he did right.
Right?
You took the words right out of my mouth. He blows your mind, and then he blows your mind. Like Jameis, what were you thinking in that moment? But I mean, hey, NFL passing leader this year.
That's what I was just saying.
You're right. So
that's amazing.
Bruce Arians, and you just said it. It never happens in year one, right? Okay, we're gonna be talking more teams this week on Big Game Bound. So excited, you guys. I'm ready. I'm ready.
All you got to do is talk
go.
Bucks, and this guy just gets a smile on his face.
Let's go. I'm ready to go.
Yeah, Tampa gets that Super Bowl next year.
Oh man, yeah, I'm looking forward to Tampa next year. But I think that's a show. Barry Sanders, Randy Grimes, you tearing up over Jerry Rice's helmet. I love it.
I bet you anything he's at the auction on Sunday or Saturday.
Get with his checkbook.
With a wig on and some glasses. Jack Doles here.
Oh my goodness.
Love this guy.
JB, why don't you wrap us up?
All right, everybody.
You are the wizard.
Let's do it. Guys, if you are watching right now, 2:01 Eastern Time, 1:01 Central, if you're watching right now, you're a diehard. We love you guys. Big Game Bound. We're going to be here all week long, streaming at 1 o'clock every day, Monday through Saturday, continuing into Saturday. Sunday, we have a special show from outside the Hard Rock Stadium there here in Miami. Guys, I'm so pumped. For Jarrett, Payton, Jack Doles, I'm JB Biunno. I'll hit the button. Let's do it for Next Star Nation. Thanks for watching.